Good morning, everyone. Clint McLaughlin here with Midwest Market Management. I've got Riley Sykart on with me here today. It is Tuesday, June 10th. Quite brisk up here in Northeast Wisconsin today, Riley. I talked to some customers in Northwest Iowa, said it was 48 degrees there this morning.
Yeah, supposed to make the big flip flop today, yesterday and last night, in the highs in the 60s, lows in the 40s, and now today we're supposed to get all the way up to 80 plus. So Mother Nature likes to be bipolar here in Iowa sometimes.
Yeah. So, from we were just talking, it's really difficult to find anything super bullish in the weather right now. I mean, there's certainly some isolated pockets with issues, but that kind of comes with the territory. There's going to have that happen every year. But, probably the biggest complaint, widespread complaint I have would be it's cooler than normal. We could use some heat to push things along, and a little rhetoric on the smoke from Canada. So, other than that, it's really difficult to find much to gripe about.
Yeah, and I haven't figured out the big impact on that Canada smoke. I don't know crop wise if that has a large impact or not. I guess I don't have the $1 million answer.
My personal opinion is you're reaching pretty deep into the bag of things to look for problems in when you get to that. But that's just me. So I guess we'll see at the end of the season how it all shakes out. What do we got
Sounds
for
good.
weather today?
Well, first, before we dig into that, I'll give updates. Last night, planting progress came out corn at 97%. That Eastern Corn Belt did have a window last week where they got in the field, and a lot of them caught up. We are past final plant date for everybody now, so I would say, listening to some reports, there are some stuff that might get switched to beans or some prevent plant, but I don't think it's an astronomical amount. I don't think we're going to lose, 3 million acres by any means. So interesting there. Crop conditions got raised by 2% from last week. Biggest changes, you and I talked about it. Ohio probably going to continue to see big numbers because of how low that came out that first week. We started at 41%, and 2 weeks later, we're already here at 58%, good to excellent. So pretty big change there. Kansas going down too. I don't have an explanation for that, Clint.
On the corn conditions, no, I really don't. It seems like they've been pretty favorable. I knew the eastern portion actually was pretty, eastern side of the state had like almost too much moisture, some flooding issues there as well. So interesting. It'll be interesting to watch as we move forward and see if that trend continues. The other thing that my dad made a good point yesterday on the RJO snapshot tour. Iowa is definitely a shining star this year. It's got some very high ratings. And once you get the ratings that high, the path of least resistance is actually for it to go lower. Like it can only get so good. And again, we're at a stage of the game here where, things are looking really good and that's favorable, but there's a lot more that will determine the actual yield off of this rather than just the visual appearance in June, right? So it's hard to get much better than where it is all I was getting at.
Gotcha. And moving into the beans, planting progress up to 90% ahead of average. People in the East still trying to finish up beans. Everybody else is knocking on the door of done or already done. So not going to spend a lot of time there. Bean conditions raised by 1% as well. Similar look to corn, where Kansas, even Nebraska dropped a little bit. Widespread beans, more of a mixed bag, I guess, state by state. But I don't think there's a big reason to chuck it up to, and there's not a big weather thing to have a drastic impact coming this week. So with
I
that,
I personally think this cool weather has more of a negative impact on the beans than it does on the corn, at least from a visual standpoint. Beans like to get moving here and get some hot weather on them.
good point. So with all that, let's move into the actual weather side of things, starting out 1 to 5 day. Temperatures looking to be a little warmer than what we've been seeing. Some highs now we're seeing in the 80s over the next 5 days. If you're in the northern Dakotas or Minnesota, you're staying in the 70s. Wisconsin as well, staying a little cooler. So they could really use some heat there on that northern belt. But other than that, temperatures in the 80s, that's great growing conditions, whether you're corn or beans. So good to see there. 6 to 10 day temperatures showing a lot of the same. If you're in that northern region, starting to get a little bit more heat, maybe clicking 80 some days, but in the deep south, some consistent temperatures there above the 90s. Interesting to see if it starts to have any effect, but I don't think that's really abnormal for this time down there, Clint. You know a lot more
No,
about that than me.
yeah, no, it's not terribly unnormal or uncommon for this time of year. Clearly, the market will be sensitive to any spread of that. But even that guy, I mean, I think the market would respond if that did move into the Midwest. But quite frankly, that's exactly what we're looking for. And if 85 is ideal, I'm sorry, 93 is not really all that hot, especially at this stage of the game when you're well watered too. So I would almost welcome that into the Midwest at this point.
Agreed. So moving in, last 13 days of rainfall. If you're in those southern regions, Oklahoma, Kansas, you mentioned potentially some extra rainfall there in that eastern area of Kansas. I guess that is showing that there. So proving you're right. Good job, Clint. But Missouri also seeing some of those rains. And other than that, not really anything unexpected. Eastern Corn Belt at this point, the planning story is dead and gone. Not really any reason there. I say we're fully switched to the rain makes grain mindset now, and a lot of color for this time of year. So good to see. Moving into the 1 to 5 day, there is some rain in the northern corn belt that's supposed to start in the Dakotas and work its way through Michigan. It's kind of right in between that 1 to 5 and then that 6 to 7 day. So it's branched into both. But interesting to see if that shifts south a little bit. If that can hit the heart of the corn belt, that would definitely be massive for farmers, especially in that northern Illinois and eastern Iowa. Like we mentioned last week, they could use some rain. So anything that they can get in that area is definitely going to be well received and not exactly friendly to the market, but good for the farmers. Then to the south, more rains in the mix for wheat country. I did hear that wheat harvest has just started down in the south, Clint. I haven't heard any reports on yield yet, but I don't think that they want to see that much rain right now because that's just going to slow down harvest. But I wouldn't say it's a big game changer either. Would you?
No, in that area, Texas right there, that's covered. It's not a major wheat producing area. It's more the Panhandle in Oklahoma into Kansas.
Gotcha. So moving in 6 to 10 day, seeing some rainfall being shown there in Kansas. The rest of that cell that's going in the northern corn belt's showing up there. Then other than that, just some smaller chances, seeing right in the center of Iowa, there's some stuff coming through. Eastern corn belt maybe showing another inch or so. But if we're going to have fairly decent temps to help dry stuff out, any rain is helping out the crops right now. Overall, there's not really a big storyline to get bulls of the market excited. For farmers, great for growing a crop. So putting it all together, the 1 to 13 day, this does include that 10 to 13 day range, which Clint, I might like a change in that and just switch it to combining those first two, because that 10 to 13, once you get that far out, they keep a lot of rain in there that isn't necessarily going to come true. So up for your ideas on that, but showing a lot more rain in the forecast than that 1 to 5 and 6 to 10 show. And that's partially because that extended forecast has more rain in it. Wait to see if that comes true. But overall, not a big storyline right now. Stuff getting well watered and rain makes grain. So that's all I got today, Clint.
All right. Well, I appreciate you putting the maps together here. And, it's only the 10th of June. We got a lot of weather ahead of us. And, the market's really absorbed a lot of negative news. And, we had a pretty tough day yesterday. It was down a little bit here again today. But you got to kind of start to question, like, well, how much, it feels like we've pretty well absorbed the negativity behind the good weather for now. So, we'll see where we end up, but definitely off to a good start. Appreciate you putting it together. Thanks a lot and have a great day.
This material has been prepared by a sales or trading employee or agent of Midwest Market Management and is in the nature of a solicitation. This material is not a research report prepared by of Midwest Market Management Research Department. By accepting this communication, you agree that you are an experienced user of the futures markets, capable of making independent trading decisions, and agree that you are not and will not rely solely on this communication in making trading decisions. Distribution in some jurisdictions may be prohibited or restricted by law. Persons in possession of this communication indirectly should inform themselves about and observe any such prohibition or restrictions. To the extent that you have received this communication indirectly and solicitations are prohibited in your jurisdiction without registration, the market commentary in this communication should not be considered a solicitation. The risk of loss in trading futures and/or options is substantial, and each investor and/or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated by simulated historical tests of strategies, is not indicative of future results. Trading advice is based on information taken from trades and statistical services and other sources that of Midwest Market Management believes are reliable. We do not guarantee that such information is accurate or complete, and it should not be relied upon as such. Trading advice reflects our good faith judgment at a specific time and is subject to change without notice. There is no guarantee that the advice we give will result in profitable trades.